Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about the fourth part in my four-part question. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, what does the IT industry mean when they talk about business mindset? What does it more concretely mean for different companies, and whose responsibility is it, and what part of the responsibility to have this is on the employed or the software developer? Well, business mindset, my friend, that is open for discussion, of course, and there's many definitions, but I will do the thing that I will I will say the thing that I hate that most of like IT and professionals they do. Like they always say, it depends, and yes, of course, it always depends. But I will not do the second part, which is to just give you like, oh yes, I will cover my ass and I will never utter an opinion about anything. I will just say all these options are open to you and they're all equal, even when I don't feel that way, because I am an opinionated bastard. So here's my opinion. So the the term business mindset is usually something we use to express that the developer understands how to find a work balance or a process. Like when they do work, they understand the the balance between quality of software and delivery speed. That is the nicest way I can possibly put this. And I will not try to explain all of my thoughts and nuances to that, but that is the basics of what it means for most companies. To develop that a little bit further, that means that your boss, and this is going to be tough to hear, does not want you to be a perfectionist. That is a sucky realization, I promise you, that the most blue-eyed, wide-eyed, idealistic young developers learn sooner or later. Your boss does not care about all of the blog articles and books that you have read that say that there's a better way of doing everything and that you can create a perfect harmony of super software. That's not what your boss wants. In many cases, if you're too extreme and you're too religious and you're too fanatic about what you call good software practices, you will actually lose opportunities to do work, because your boss does not want to hire a perfectionist. Your boss wants to hire what we like to call the pragmatic master. And a pragmatic master it's part of a very nice dividation. Like it's a good description, a mental picture, if you will, or let's call it a description of the transitions, the stages of a software developer, where you start as a junior and you move over to being a philosopher. This is usually where you are when you try to be a perfectionist and you try to do everything perfect, up to you get to what we call the pragmatic master. And the pragmatic master stage is, well, not necessarily the same thing as having a business mindset, but that is where you are most ready to have a business mindset, because you've matured to the point where you realize that software is not about software. Math is about math, but software is about money. Software is about value. It is about solving a problem or building something that does something for someone else. And my analogy that I like to use is that if when you are a kid and you, let's say that you wanted to build cars, well, then of course you dream about building the Ferraris and the Bugattis or whatever, like does, or Lamborghinis, whatever. You're dreaming about building these supercars. When you get a little bit older and you try to actually take your dreams and make a career out of them, and you start to work at a car manufacturing company, if you start working at, say, Volvo or Volkswagen or something like that on their, I don't know, affordable brand of personal automobiles, if you don't understand that they're not building Ferraris, they will fire you, because you cannot expect that something that is a budget car to have the same considerations and same process of development as something as a supercar or a Formula One car. You can't do that. It's not sustainable. That's not having a business mindset. That is being an idealist. trying to live in a or like wanting to live in a fantasy world where you have endless amounts of time and money and all of this stuff. That is where the business mindset comes in. When you are when you understand that some things needs to be done in certain ways, because this is the double-edged sword in all of this. So your boss wants you to ship as quick as possible, but they also want it to work. It's the same thing with the cars. Just because we're building a car that is affordable to people with a lower pay bracket or people who can't afford like super luxury cars, that doesn't mean that it can like explode. It has to work. And that's the thing that a business mindset means. That you as a software developer, because your boss is trusting you in many ways, because they don't know what your process is about. They're not developers. They just want things to get done in time and to be certain that you're doing your best to make sure to understand what their needs are, and that you're building the right software for the moment, or for, as I like to call it, you're building the right thing given the circumstances that you have or the context. And that is the business mindset, to understand that the company is out to looking for money. So you should not, for example, sit down and rewrite the whole code base in a functional language just because you feel like it. But they want you to understand that you can't just hack things together. Maybe writing a few unit tests for things that are really, really important, or maybe tweaking this thing over here that is taking a lot of time so it is faster and it actually makes a lot of people more productive. That is business mindset, to understand the business that you are working within, and understand what you can do as a software developer to make more things move faster. Not an idealistic thing, to actually concretely make things better, so that the company can either ship faster, make more money, or things like that. That's the thing that they are looking for. They are, I'm very sorry to say, not always looking for developer happiness or perfect code. They're looking for money and delivery speed and, well, quality within reason. So what I want you to take away from this is that business mindset basically just means that you understand the balance between quality of software and delivery speed. That is usually what it means to most companies. And here it is better to be a pragmatist than a perfectionist. Some juniors make and I did this as well, you think that you're going to get rewarded because you're a perfect coder and you follow all the best practices. I promise you that's not going to happen. They're going to get annoyed with you, because being perfect and being a perfectionist is annoying to practically everybody that you're dealing with, especially when the focus isn't the thing that you think it is. You think it's about perfect code because you think software is about software. It's not. It's about value and money. That is what it is about. And that means that you're more likely to get further if you are more pragmatic. And here is the balance. That's the business part. You can't just hack things together forever, because then the system, like, you're going to lose money for the company. So it's about finding that balance between, as I said, understanding how to build an affordable car. Because you can't build a car that's going to explode, and you can't build a car that is going to race in Formula 1. You need to find a sweet spot there in between, which is based on your understanding of your company and how they're making money and all of this good stuff. And the responsibility for this is primarily on you. You can get rewarded for knowing how to do this, but honestly, this is the dirty secret, and I'm going to end with this. Most of the time, guys, as long as you're not taking too long to produce things, and you're not making, as I was saying, the car explode, nobody can tell if you have a business mindset or not, practically. Your boss, because it's at the end of the day, it's a nice to have. It's something that the company really wants from you, and some companies will reward you if you're good at it. But money companies, they don't even know. They don't know. They won't reward you, and you have almost no incentive to do this sort of thing, because there's somebody else is ultimately responsible for the project. Your PO is the one that's going to sit in the hot seat if things are delayed too much and so forth, and they can't pin it on somebody else. And as long as they can't pin it on you, it doesn't really matter in some cases. At least it very rarely matters whether or not you're really good at business mindset. Have a great day.